Every time I think I've seen the worst that terrible feminism comics have to offer, I find a new low. This is a comic called Calling for an End to PC Culture Won't Work, and This Is Why. It's published for Everyday Feminism by Ali Kirkham. Or Ali Kirkham. I don't know. Who gives a shit? The adventures of Politically Incorrect Man, a hero to people oppressed by political correctness. Okay. Don't even call him Politically Incorrect Man. Just call him Feminist Strawman, because that's what he is. Anyway, so the comic begins with this white cis oppressor talking to this woman of color who you will notice is handicapped. He's probably trans too. Why the fuck not? And the guy says, "What do you mean I can't come in?" And she says, "It's a safe space for femme-identifying folks only." What's this folks shit? Folks? Fuck that. Look, I want to talk to my girlfriend. Just because I'm a guy doesn't mean I'm not safe. That's a good fucking point. It's just, okay, it's a safe space. So what are you saying? I'm a danger to the safe space? If I'm there, all of a sudden people aren't safe anymore? And we could talk about the concept of safe spaces and how they're bullshit. I think that's already been explored. I mean, South Park has satirized it. Everyone from fucking Sargon of Akkad to Thunderfoot has broken down why the whole concept of a safe space is just nonsense. But I guess I'll do it again. Nowhere is safe, right? You don't get a safe space. No one fucking does. Welcome to Earth. It's dangerous and it's confusing, and you're not always gonna feel comfortable. All right? Okay. Next panel. Politically Incorrect Man shows up. Well, first, this bitch says, oh, I'm sorry, I called her a bitch. I'm obviously dehumanizing her. She says, I'm sorry, I gotta do the annoying feminist voice. "That doesn't change the fact that you're intruding." Intruding? And look at this smile on his face. He's not even listening to her. He's just looking at them titties. He's like, yeah, crippled bitch titties. I can't wait to put that woman of color titties in my cis white het male oppressor fucking mouth. Anyway, Politically Incorrect Man says, "Political correctness run rampant. If your space was really safe, you'd want to protect men too." That's a reasonable point, honestly. I mean, I don't know. There's no refutation offered to this. I mean, there's nothing that the comic doesn't fucking, but then there's this witty rejoinder against him. It doesn't happen. Doesn't happen. That we're just supposed to look at his argument and be like, that is ridiculous on the face of it. So obviously and patently absurd. All right, so next panel, we're switching to a totally different narrative. It's a black guy and an old white woman sitting on a park bench talking. And the black guy says, "After Michael Brown, Eric Garner, Sandra Bland, and dozens of others, I just get nervous if I'm pulled over by two white cops." Well, I would be too, honestly. I mean, I'm nervous as a white guy. If I was black, I'd be twice as nervous. Maybe 10 times as nervous. I don't know. I can understand black dude being nervous being pulled over by the police. And then the woman says, "Then how can you call me racist for crossing the street to avoid women in hijabs?" Women in hijabs. Wouldn't the natural comparison here be to she crosses the street to avoid black men? Since, they're disproportionately criminal compared to the rest of the population. Wouldn't that be the natural comparison? The black man is afraid of cops abusing their power, and the white woman is afraid of black men, robbing her, killing her, raping her, whatever. Why would she cross the street for women in hijabs? I mean, even if you hate women in hijabs, you're not going to cross. Oh shit, there's some women in hijabs. Cross the street. You never know what women in hijabs will do. I mean, I guess they could be suicide bombers, whatever. And this guy says, "Because racism is grounded in the dominant..." And this woman is also smiling. She just, in this comic, white people just love being schooled. We just love it when someone starts tearing our white bullshit apart. Anyway, Politically Incorrect Man shows up, and why does he have a fucking camel toe going on there. Damn. Looks like he has 2 vaginas with 2 vaginal creases. I don't know. Minorities are racist too. Stop your PC culture privileging of non-whites. Okay. Yeah, I agree. I mean, minorities, I mean, it's not minorities are racist too. It's minorities can be racist too. It's just, you know, not by the new definition of racism. The definition of racism that says, oh, well, the black guy in this comic is starting to say it because racism is grounded in the dominant blah, 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 blah. You know, we can't be racist because we're black. So even if I'm a black person that hates white people, and even if I'm in a position of power over white people and I use that position of power over them, I'm still not racist because I'm black. And white people got so many advantages in society that it's just impossible for a black person to be racist. That doesn't make any sense. All right, so here's the next story. Fat bitch and a skinny dude walking around, and she says, being fat often means I don't get effective medical treatment. What do you give a fuck about effective medical treatment? Stop eating fucking Big Macs all day, you fat bitch. Goddamn, if you're so goddamn concerned about your health, realize that scientifically, it's not just like, I mean, you set all the fucking like fat is gross shit aside. Just medically, you're at greater risk for so many things by being obese. So if you're really so concerned about your health, maybe don't just blame the medical fucking establishment for all your problems. Maybe take some personal fucking responsibility and realize my fat ass doesn't need to eat this much. And if you do want to eat that much, and hey, this is a fat person talking to you right now, so you know that I do. Don't bitch about, I can't get proper medical treatment. Why? Are you too fucking fat to fit in the doctor's office? Jesus. And this guy says, well, maybe you need to stop making excuses and just lose some weight. Yes! Yeah! Yeah! What that fucking guy said. And then the woman says, I shouldn't have to lose weight to be, ow, hey, you pushed me. We don't actually see the action of politically incorrect guy pushing her, but I guess he did. And the politically incorrect motherfucker says, you can't get mad at us just for speaking harsh truths. We're just worried about the obesity epidemic. Yeah. Yeah, sure. Why the fuck not? Okay, but now, this is where the comic gets quote-unquote interesting. This is when politically incorrect man's arch rival shows up. Look out, politically incorrect man. It's MX, respect for others. MX. How the fuck am I supposed to pronounce that? Mix. It's mix, respect for others. Yeah, and he says, drat. And I guess he's trying to throw stuff at her, but she's just invincible. But, you know, she got the booty on her, though, so, you know, whatever. And he's like, ugh, why do you want to stifle my free speech? And she says, don't be silly. I'm not stifling your speech. I'm exercising my right to speech. Okay. Well, we'll return to that in a moment. I'm not silly. I use my powers to protect people from out-of-control political correctness. No, you just yell whenever someone gets called out for being rude. All right, so let's just go through the examples of the comic before this point. There was a guy who wanted to fucking enter a femme-only safe space. And there was a guy who, a black dude who's scared of cops, but, you know, he calls it racist when a woman crosses the street to avoid people in hijabs. And then there was a fat bitch who didn't want to take any responsibility. So, yeah, I mean, the first guy, he fucking, all he wanted to do was just enter this femme-only space. Let's just remember that, you know, if you have a man-only space, women are like, what the fuck? That's so misogynistic. You know, I mean, look, either it's okay to have a group of people that are all one thing, like we're all, you know, this is the society of people who are over 6'5", and no one under 6'5" is allowed. Either that's okay, or that is not okay. It can't be, well, it's okay if the group that's doing it is marginalized in some way by some standard. No, fuck that. We don't need a double standard. We need one consistent standard. It's either okay or it's not okay. I don't care what your answer is, but you have to have one of those answers. This fucking special exception shit has got to stop. The black guy, you know, as much as we can understand why he's apprehensive about the cops pulling him over, you know, he's still stereotyping. It's still the same kind of bullshit as, I guess, crossing the street to avoid a woman in a hijab, which would never even fucking happen, by the way. But, yeah, I mean, it's just two examples of people who are bigoted based on stereotypes. But one gets a pass because he's black. And then there's the fat chick who, you know, complains she can't get good medical treatment but doesn't want to take any personal responsibility. Yeah, someone should say to that fat bitch, lose some weight then. If you're that fucking concerned about your health, take some fucking personal responsibility. Or don't bitch about it. But no, all of that's wrong. All of what I said is wrong. And this fucking mix fucking bitch a lot, whatever the fuck her stupid superhero name is going to explain it to us in this last series of panels where she fucking basically speaks an essay, and I'm just gonna read it. I'll try to maintain my feminist voice throughout, but we'll see. All right, this is part 1. You protect people from the social consequences of speech by claiming there should be no consequences. But marginalized folks are part of society too, and our speech is just as powerful and valid as yours. When people say you aren't politically correct, they're saying you're acting like a jerk. Calling for an end to political correctness is just calling for freedom to be an asshole without worrying about being treated like an asshole by the people you're insulting. No, that's completely flat out fucking wrong. All right? It has nothing to do with being an asshole. Here's how freedom of speech actually works. Let's go back to one of these examples. Let's go back to the fat bitch. You know, she's walking down the street. She says, you know, I can't get good medical treatment. She's exercising her freedom of speech. The guy says back, you know, you just need to lose weight. Okay? You could say that's rude. I happen to think it's an accurate statement, but whatever. You could say it's impolitic to say it like that. But he's still exercising his freedom of speech. You know what the freedom of speech solution is for her? If she doesn't like that, she can say, well, fuck you then. Or she could say, I disagree. Or she could say, maybe you're right. She could say any fucking thing. That's freedom of speech. No one's trying to take that from her. At what point did politically incorrect man use violence against anybody in this fucking comic? Except for when he pushed the fat girl, but not, you know, we weren't dealing with a talented enough artist to actually show that happening. So it's just implied that it happened. But, you know, he's using words. Everyone is using words. Everyone has freedom of speech. No one in this comic was ever corralled and arrested for their opinion. All right. So here's the last fucking panel of this shit fest. All worn out? Good. You've been the big bully on the playground for a long time, but calling no tag backs when you smack someone doesn't work these days. Marginalized folks. What's this word, folks? Fuck folks. It's a terrible word. Are done putting up with your shit. Say whatever you want, but don't expect the groups you're marginalizing to be silent anymore. When have they ever been silent? When, like, okay, black people, maybe like in the slavery days, they were silent because they were afraid of the fucking whip or something. But as far as I'm concerned, you motherfucker, you social justice warrior motherfuckers, you don't have this reputation for being these passive little, oh, well, you know, we just, anyone who criticizes us, it's fine. But now we're changing, now we're getting strong. No, you guys have been assholes for a long time. You guys have been done putting up with, quote unquote, our shit for some time now. Because anytime anyone criticizes you, even when it's valid, you motherfuckers are like, yeah, I'm oppressed. But my oppression, you don't understand. I'm so fucking oppressed. Oh, you goofy fucking bastards. All right, so that was the worst feminist comic I've ever fucking read. Hope you guys enjoyed.